Rihanna was like, I just wanted to be her.
So my parents were like, be realistic. Like, you need to work. This can be a side, a hobby.
All of y'all my bad pay. Y'all make enough money off of me.
There are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
Forget starting soft. We need to drop viewers right into the drama, so they feel like they're eavesdropping on a feud bigger than music. The internet is buzzing, and fans are convinced we're witnessing a cold war between Rihanna and Tyla. What started as innocent comparisons has spiraled into cryptic posts, industry whispers, and allegations of sabotage. Is Rihanna protecting her crown, or is Tyla being unfairly set up as her replacement? Either way, this drama has the entire music industry holding its breath. That sets stakes immediately. This isn't just about songs, it's about power, legacy, and survival. The music industry is buzzing with a storm that nobody saw coming. A silent battle between a global icon and a rising star. On one side, you have Rihanna, billionaire mogul, fashion powerhouse, and the woman who turned the pop and R&B lanes in her personal empire. On the other, Tyla, a fresh face from South Africa, who has gone from viral TikTok sensation to Grammy winner in record time. At first glance, it might seem like harmless comparisons. Every new artist gets compared to those who came before them, right? But when it comes to Rihanna and Tyla, the chatter has grown into something much bigger. A cultural tug-of-war that's starting to feel like an industry chess game. Because this isn't just about two women with similar voices or style. No, this is about identity. It's about who gets to represent the next generation of pop. It's about legacy, whether Rihanna's throne is truly untouchable, or if the industry is already building her replacement in plain sight. And for Tyla, it's about survival. Can she break free from Rihanna's shadow and stand on her own? Or will she be forever branded as a copycat, a carbon copy crafted by record labels looking for the next big thing? And let's be clear, the stakes are high. We're not just talking about music charts. We're talking fashion deals, global tours, brand endorsements, and the billions of dollars tied to being the face of a generation. Rihanna's empire wasn't built overnight. It took years of fighting, reinventing, and surviving industry politics. Now, Tyla is stepping into that same battlefield, but with a dangerous twist. Her rise seems eerily familiar. Too familiar. Almost manufactured. So what happens when an unstoppable legend meets an industry-backed newcomer who feels designed to replace her? Is this just fan-fueled drama? Or is Rihanna quietly sending signals that she sees Tyla as a threat? One thing's for sure. This is no ordinary comparison. This is a story of power, jealousy, and calculated moves in the world's most cutthroat business, pop music. To understand why Tyla has become the center of this storm, you have to look at the speed and scale of her come-up. Because in less than 2 years, Tyla has gone from a little-known singer in Johannesburg to one of the most talked-about new faces in global pop. It all started with one song, Water. What was meant to be a playful Afro-fusion track for her local audience turned into a viral earthquake. TikTok users couldn't get enough of the song's addictive hook and the now iconic Water Dance Challenge. Within weeks, millions of people were streaming Tyla's name, and suddenly she wasn't just a South African artist. She was a global breakout. The numbers speak for themselves. Water broke records as the first solo African female artist song to chart on the Billboard Hot 100 in over 50 years. Tyla didn't just go viral. She carved her name into history books. And the industry noticed. From there, the invitations started pouring in. A record deal with Epic Records. Late-night TV performances that went viral on their own. And then the moment that sealed her as more than just a one-hit wonder, the Grammy Awards. At just 22 years old, Tyla walked away with a trophy for Best African Music Performance, becoming the first ever winner in the category. It wasn't just a win for her. It was a win for South Africa, for Afrobeat-inspired pop, and for a generation of artists trying to break through the Western-dominated charts. Overnight, Tyla became a symbol. She wasn't just another rising star. She was the one to watch. And then came the Met Gala. In the same year, she collected her first Grammy. Tyla walked the most exclusive red carpet in the world, wearing a sand-sculpted balmain dress that literally molded to her body. It wasn't just an outfit, it was a statement. Tyla wasn't here to play local stages anymore. She was stepping into the global spotlight, with fashion houses and A-list designers already backing her. But as Tyla's star burned brighter, something else began to happen. Fans couldn't help but notice the resemblance. The voice, the sultry accent, the glossy brown skin, the effortless ability to blend R&B with island and African influences, it all felt familiar. Too familiar. For many, it triggered a sense of déjà vu. Soon, social media was flooded with comparisons. Clips of Rihanna in the early 2000s, side by side with Tyla in 2023. Same soft vocals, same stage presence. Even the fashion rollouts felt recycled. Was Tyla simply following the footsteps of an icon? Or was the industry intentionally building her in Rihanna's image? Because one thing became clear, Tyla wasn't just rising on her own talent. She was being positioned, almost sculpted, as the next global pop princess. And for fans of Rihanna, that was both flattering and threatening. At first, the Rihanna comparisons felt playful. Fans would tweet things like, if Rihanna had a little sister, it'd be Tyla, or this girl is giving 2005 Riri vibes. A little nostalgia, a little fun. But soon the mood shifted. Because when Tyla kept showing up with the same sultry vocal delivery, the glossy caramel skin, the middle part hairstyles, and the island meets R&B aesthetic, people started to say, wait a minute, this isn't just coincidence. This feels like a rebrand. The internet is brutal, and it didn't take long for the copycat accusations to take off. Side-by-side memes went viral. Tyla's Met Gala look next to Rihanna's iconic guape gown. Tyla in a slick ponytail match against Rihanna's early 2000s hairstyles. One tweet with over 1 million views flat out called her Rihanna 2.0, Factory Settings Edition. And then came the industry plant whispers. Fans began asking, how does a brand new artist with one viral hit get fast-tracked to Grammys, Vogue covers, and a Met Gala in less than a year? Who's really pulling the strings? Was Tyla being groomed as the industry's hand-picked replacement for Rihanna? Someone younger, fresher, and easier to mold? The accusations got messy fast. One TikTok stitched Tyla's Grammy win with Rihanna's 2008 performance and captioned it, "They think we won't notice?" Another comment read, "She's Rihanna without the edge." A copy-paste pop star. But Tyla wasn't staying silent. In interviews, she began to draw a line. She thanked Rihanna as an inspiration, yes, but she also stressed, I'm my own artist. I have my own sound, my own vision. I don't want to be compared to anyone. Her tone was polite, but the subtext was clear. Tyla wasn't about to let the internet box her into someone else's legacy. She wanted to claim her own lane. Still, fans weren't convinced. Because for every clip of Tyla defending her individuality, another viral post popped up accusing her of studying Rihanna's old playbook, from fashion rollouts to vocal inflections. And when the comparisons start feeling too close, people stop asking if it's admiration and start wondering if it's imitation. And that's when the tension with Rihanna's fan base, the Navy, started to really boil over. By now, the comparisons weren't just harmless chatter. They were starting to sting. And both women, Tyla and Rihanna, began dropping posts that fans swore were more than coincidence. It started with Tyla. Just weeks after her Grammy win, she went on Instagram stories with a cryptic message. It's weird when people record you like they want proof of your every move. But I guess that comes with the territory. On the surface, it looked like a simple observation about fame. But fans instantly connected the dots. Was she talking about Rihanna's fans, the Navy, who kept digging up her old clips, dissecting her performances, and comparing them to Rihanna's? Was this Tyla subtly clapping back at being called a clone? Screenshots of her post went viral, with comments like, "This is a shot at Rihanna's stans, no doubt. She's tired of being shadowed by Ree." And if Tyla's message was subtle, Rihanna's response was anything but. Just days later, Rihanna broke her usual silence with a cryptic post of her own. A single line in bold lettering on her Instagram feed. "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." No caption, no context, just vibes. But when you're Rihanna, and you rarely post anything, every word feels like a declaration. Fans instantly treated it as a warning shot, a reminder to anyone encroaching on her lane that she's untouchable, irreplaceable, and still the blueprint. Twitter went wild. Memes circulated of Rihanna in her Fenny throne, swatting away industry plants. TikToks captioned the post as Rihanna telling Tyla, "Stay in your place." And suddenly, this wasn't just a fan-fueled comparison anymore. It was starting to look, at least in the eyes of the internet, like a feud, a real one. Speculation only deepened from there. Gossip blogs began hinting at behind-the-scenes sabotage. Rumors swirled that Rihanna's camp wasn't exactly thrilled about Tyla being fast-tracked into the pop princess pipeline. Others suggested Rihanna herself might feel some type of way about being compared to or replaced by a 22-year-old. And just like that, the tension that began as innocent comparisons exploded into a full-on cryptic shade war. Two women barely acknowledging each other publicly, yet speaking volumes through Instagram posts and silence. And for fans, it was war. The Navy versus the Water Army. The old guard versus the new. But here's the real question. Was this truly organic tension, or was the music industry itself stirring the pot? Here's where the story gets bigger than just Tyla and Rihanna. Because when you zoom out, it starts to look less like a personal feud and more like an industry operation. Let's talk about Epic Records, Tyla's label. The same machine that, according to insiders, has been strategically manufacturing her career with eerie precision. From the moment Water went viral, Epic went all in. Suddenly, Tyla wasn't just a breakout star from Johannesburg. She was everywhere. Vogue spreads, Fashion Week invites, Met Gala appearances, and the timelines lined up almost too perfectly with Rihanna's own trajectory. Fans noticed the rollout was textbook Rihanna. The styling? Mid-2000s island glam with a hint of edgy R&B. The vocals? Breathless, sultry, almost indistinguishable from young Rihanna's Pawn to Replay era. Even her interviews felt prepped, polished, and positioned to echo Rihanna's early ascent. And then came the marketing machine. Paid TikTok campaigns pushed Water into every For You page across the globe. Influencers lip-synced it. Dancers choreographed to it. Fashion TikTok used it as a soundtrack. All at once, Tyla's presence was inescapable, and the money trail pointed right back to Epic. One viral thread even accused Epic of speedrunning Rihanna's career, with Tyla as the avatar. It laid out side-by-side receipts. Rihanna's 2005 Vogue Italia debut versus Tyla's 2024 Vogue France feature. Rihanna's Met Gala rookie year versus Tyla's surprise invite. Even the way Tyla's team styled her hair, that glossy middle part, mirrored Rihanna's early 2000s look. But here's where it gets even messy, the why. The music industry has always thrived on creating archetypes. The next Beyoncé, the next Gaga, the next Rihanna. Labels want continuity, not risk. And Rihanna? She hasn't released an album since 2016. She's a billionaire mogul now, running Fenny, Savage x Fenny, juggling motherhood. From the industry's perspective, she's too big to control, and maybe too distracted to deliver. Enter Tyla. Young, fresh, pliable. A blank canvas. A black woman with global crossover appeal, but with a lighter, more safe packaging for Western pop markets. Some critics argue that's exactly why she was chosen. Because she could slide into Rihanna's blueprint without bringing the same unpredictability or independence that Rihanna became famous for. The subtext is uncomfortable, but it's there. Colorism, marketability, and the industry's obsession with replicating formulas instead of nurturing originality. So is Tyla being genuinely celebrated for her own artistry? Or is she being manufactured as the next Rihanna, whether she wants it or not? Because when you line up the receipts, the fast-track career moves, the identical styling, the marketing saturation, it feels less like coincidence and more like calculation. And that's why fans aren't just gossiping about Rihanna versus Tyla. They're asking the bigger question, is this even their fight, or is it the industry pulling the strings? At this point, The internet had split into two camps. On one side, fans swore Rihanna was threatened. They pointed to the cryptic, no-weapon-formed post, the timing of her rare public appearances, and the sudden resurgence of Fenty promo. To them, this wasn't coincidence. It was Rihanna subtly reminding everyone that she's still the standard, and no rookie could snatch her crown. The narrative went like this. Rihanna sees Tyla's Grammy win, the Met Gala invite, the Vogue covers, and she doesn't like it. After all, Rihanna fought for years to carve out her lane, only for a younger artist to come in and be marketed as the next her. For those fans, the jealousy theory made sense. But then, the other side pushed back hard. They argued, Rihanna is a billionaire, a mogul, a fashion icon, a mother of two. Why would she feel threatened by a 22-year-old just starting out? If anything, Rihanna's playing chess, not checkers. She's not in competition. She's in control. And here's where it gets interesting. Some industry insiders whispered that Rihanna's control might extend further than fans realized. Think about it. Why hasn't Tyla landed a Drake feature? A Beyoncé co-sign? Why, despite all the hype, has she yet to be paired with the heavyweights who usually get behind rising stars? Some conspiracy-minded fans believe Rihanna is quietly blocking those lanes, using her influence to keep Tyla from encroaching too far into her territory. It sounds wild, until you remember Rihanna's own past. A resurfaced clip from Rihanna's Def Jam days went viral, where she opened up about the suffocating pressure of being molded into a global star. She admitted how labels constantly compared her to Beyoncé, how executives wanted her to fill a role rather than be herself. She described it as being trapped in a machine, forced to compete in games she didn't sign up for. And when fans put that clip side by side with Tyla's current rise, the parallel was hard to ignore. Both young black women, both marketed as the next big thing, both under immense pressure to embody an archetype instead of just being an artist. The only difference? Rihanna broke free. Tyla is still inside the machine. So the real question becomes, is Rihanna truly jealous of Tyla's rise? Or is she simply playing strategist, protecting her empire, ensuring no one can be used against her the way she once was used against Beyoncé? It's a debate with no clear answer. But one thing's certain. In the court of public opinion, perception is everything. And right now, perception has turned what could have been a peaceful coexistence into a high-stakes narrative of rivalry. Just when the Tyla versus Rihanna tension was reaching boiling point, another voice jumped into the chat, and it wasn't just any voice. It was Cardi B. Out of nowhere, Cardi hopped on IG Live and publicly defended Tyla. She basically said the industry has a sick obsession with pitting women against each other, and that instead of dragging Tyla for copying Rihanna, people should be celebrating the fact that another young black woman is winning. And the internet immediately split in two. Because Cardi's cosign wasn't just a casual comment, it reframed the entire debate. Suddenly, it wasn't just Rihanna versus Tyla. It was about industry toxicity, colorism, and how female artists are constantly forced into competition. But of course, the fans weren't having a kumbaya moment. If anything, Cardi's statement made the trenches even bloodier. On one side, Rihanna loyalists, the Navy, sharpening their digital swords. They flooded timelines with tweets like, "Backend index pointing right medium skin tone. Respectfully, Tyla is a Spotify playlist away from being forgotten. Rihanna built an empire." Backhand index pointing right medium skin tone. Cardi defending Tyla? Makes sense. Birds of a feather flock together. Both industry plants. And on the other side, Tyla defenders rallying behind their girl. Backhand index pointing right medium skin tone. Rihanna stands acting like she's dropping music every year. She abandoned music for makeup, so let Tyla cook. Backhand index pointing right medium skin tone. It's giving insecurity. If Rihanna was really unbothered, she wouldn't be posting cryptic Bible verses. Some of the spiciest fan edits mashed up Tyla and Rihanna performances side by side, asking followers to vote on who did it better. Others dug up Rihanna's old Def Jam struggles and argued she should be the last one criticizing a young woman facing the same machine. And then, in true stan culture fashion, the beef got absurd. One viral TikTok had over 1 million views, just showing a Tyla hairstyle next to Rihanna's 2007 look, captioned, "The math ain't matte." Meanwhile, Tyla's supporters clapped back with clips of Aaliyah, Grace Jones, even Brandy, arguing Rihanna herself wasn't original, but an echo of those before her. At this point, the so-called feud wasn't just between two artists. It was thousands of fans, influencers, and celebrities projecting their own narratives onto Rihanna and Tyla. And with Cardi stepping in, the line had officially been crossed. This wasn't private shade anymore. This was a public spectacle. Here's the part people forget. Shade isn't just petty. It's not just memes, cryptic captions, or stan beef. In the music industry, shade costs money. Every whisper of industry plant, every accusation of being a Rihanna copy, chips away at Tyla's credibility. And credibility is the currency that buys you collaborations, sponsorships, and longevity. Think about it. Major brands don't want to invest in the next Rihanna clone. They want the original or the next unique icon. If Tyla doesn't shake off these comparisons, she risks being locked in Rihanna's shadow forever, remembered more for who she reminded people of than who she actually was. And collaborations? That's where it gets even trickier. Artists like Drake, Beyoncé, even Kendrick Lamar, they're strategic. They don't attach themselves to someone under heavy fire unless they're absolutely certain the artist can stand on their own. If those doors stay closed, Tyla's rise could stall before it even peaks. Even her Grammy, the kind of win that should have solidified her as a global force, now sits under Rihanna's looming silhouette. Instead of Tyla, history-making South African breakout, the narrative online is Rihanna's little sister just got handed a Grammy. And here's the chilling part. The industry is full of young artists who looked like the next big thing, only to be devoured by politics, comparisons, and fan fatigue. The question now is simple, but heavy. Will Tyla flip the script? Will she carve out an identity so bold, so undeniable, that she forces people to see her as Tyla, the original, not Tyla, the Rihanna reboot? Or will she become another casualty of an industry that thrives on duplication, exploitation, and discarding talent once the novelty wears off? The answer isn't clear, but one thing is certain. In this game of identity, legacy, and survival, the stakes for Tyla's future have never been higher.